Hello everyone! Today I'm here to do my 2018 Bookish survey. So this is my second or third year doing this. I saw this on a blog. It's actually Jamie's over at the Perpetual Page-Turner, which I will link down below. She comes out with this Bookish survey every single year, and it just talks about in depth about different questions of what you've read, like more than like your favorite, your least favorite, maybe like your new favorite character, your favorite beginning to a series, your favorite end to a series. It's really a lot of questions. Like I'm talking about like up to 40 in here. There's also book blog questions or booktube. I'm skipping that for the sake of the longness of this video. And I think there's also like looking into the future for books too. We'll have to see if I do that section or not, depending again on the length of this video. But like I said, there's a ton of questions in here, so I highly recommend doing it. I'm a big reflective person where I like to look back over the previous years and see what I read, what I liked, what I didn't like, going into more depth. So this survey is great. I highly recommend you do it if you don't even have a booktube, bookstagram, or book blogger. If you just want to fill it out and have it for you at home to look at, I think that's also awesome as well, because it's always fun just looking back on your reading for that year. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it because it's gonna be a long video and I got a whole stack of books here that I want to talk about. And I'm also trying to like not use the same book for every single question, but we'll see how that goes. No promises. The first couple things are stats. The number of books that you read. So this year I have read 110 books. Insanity, I know. Number of rereads, 0, I think. There may have been a couple that I reread. I'm gonna make that a goal in 2019 is to reread more. That's another percent. That's 100% a goal. And the last stat thing is genre you read the most from. And this I found most interesting because every single year I have been on BookTube, the answer has always been YA. But this year, my friends, it is different. My most read genre this year was adult books, and more particularly adult literary fiction books. Who am I? I have no clue what has happened. So usually, like I said, every time it's been YA. This year I have read more adult books than YA books. My second read genre is YA contemporary, so that's not a surprise at all. But the fact of the matter is I read the majority of reading I did this year was from the adult literary fiction. I am so excited and happy about that. It's just insane how much you can change within a year with reading habits. It's just blows my mind. So the first question is going to be the one that everybody knows the answer to probably already, and that is the best book you read in 2018. And of course that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is my favorite book that I read this year and probably one of my favorite top 5 that I've ever read in my entire life. So yeah, to say I love this book is a huge understatement. I'm obsessed with this book. Question number 2 is book you were excited about and thought you were going to love more, but you didn't. This one, I'm gonna go with The Hazelwood by Alyssa Albert. I was very much anticipating this book release and I read it and I didn't love it. And this is a very polarizing book. I've learned that, especially when it comes to YA fantasy, I have a really big unpopular opinion. Like a lot of people love this book. I am the unpopular opinion. I did not love it. I was excited for it, didn't love it. Question number 3 is most surprising in a good or bad way book that you read. One for me is going to be Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. I read this in November and I was expecting to like it because the premise sounded really cool, but I wasn't expecting to fall in love with it as much as I did. So that just goes to show you that read books that maybe you think I'll like it, but maybe you won't. Sometimes they end up being some of your favorite books of the entire year. This is one of them. Like, I love this. It surprised me so freaking much. The next question is book you push people the most to read, and they did. I feel like I pushed a lot of books on you guys this year. I mean, I definitely pushed The Nightingale a ton. I feel like I also pushed The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw a lot. I talked about this a ton of times on my channel. Question is best series you started in 2018. And this is hard because I feel like I don't know like what series. I didn't start a ton of series. Oh, maybe I'll say this one. I guess I'll say Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. I did really enjoy this book. It's an underhyped book. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I really enjoyed it and will definitely read the second book. Is it going to be a duology or a trilogy? I never know. The next question is best sequel of 2018. For this one, I have to go with A Reaper at the Gates. I love this book so much. I've always been a fan of Ember and the Ashes series, but I never like really loved them. But this third book has been my favorite throughout the whole series. I'm obsessed with it. It tore me to pieces, but good Lord, was this the best sequel that I read this year? It was. Speaking of sequels, the next question is best series ender of 2018. This one I have two. I have Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas because I really did enjoy this series ender. It was, I flew through it much more than I thought it would because it's freaking hella long. I also have Obsidio by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Both of these series ended. Both of them I loved very, very much so. The next question is your favorite new to you author that you discovered in 2018. Kristen Hanna and Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have been just not shutting up about either of them all freaking year. So yeah, these two are like my new favorite authors ever. So yay, thank you 2018 for bringing me that. Best book from a genre you don't typically read and was out of your comfort zone. I hate to keep bringing this up, but historical fiction. I rarely read historical fiction, so this is definitely in my comfort zone. And just goes to show you, this was the most out of my comfort zone I've ever read, and I loved it so, so much. It's action-packed, thrilling, unputtable down book of the year. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Sorry, something just fell behind me, but this one, it kept me enthralled from page 1 to the end, and I was surprised because I've never read a Holly Black book. I've tried reading them before, couldn't get into them, but I really thought this one was very action-packed. It was kind of also just very political, very intriguing, and I really loved it. Page 2, that's right, there's multiple pages to this thing. You gotta fill it out. Favorite cover of a book you read in 2018. For this one, I mean, there's a lot that I really, really like, but I'm gonna kind of pick ones that I don't hear talk about a lot, and that is going to be The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. I love this cover. Look at that, it even kind of sparkles. And also, One Day in December by Josie Silver. I just really love this cover. It's so cutesy, like they're so freaking night and day, but I love them both. Most memorable character of 2018, without a doubt, Evelyn Hugo. Evelyn Hugo, this is the one book that after I finished it, I was 100% for sure that Evelyn Hugo was a real person. So much so that I went on freaking Google, IMDb, and was like, let me see, I'm gonna watch all of her movies. And I was like, oh yeah, she's fictional. So yeah, she was definitely the most memorable character throughout the entire year for me. I have most beautifully written book of 2018. For this one I picked two because I can't ever make my mind up. For that, I have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I just love the way this was written so effortlessly. It just flowed together so nicely. And also Circe by Madeline Miller. This woman can craft a story. Like, this is an example of another book that I really read that's out of my comfort zone because it's kind of historical and it's also fantastical and Greek mythology-ish. I don't really read that a ton, but I loved it. So both of these were just beautifully well written. Then we have most thought-provoking and life-changing book of 2018. I have two. Yet again, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, it definitely changed my life, definitely was very thought-provoking. Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This book was so insanely thought-provoking, much more than I ever thought it would be. I went into this book thinking it was one thing, came out with totally different like opinions of what I thought it was. So both of these very thought-provoking. Next we have book you can't believe you waited until 2018 to finally read. That would hands down have to be any Taylor Jenkins Reid books. I read 4 of her books this year, like in the past matter of months, let me just say. I was sleeping heavily on this author. Do not make the same mistake as me, my friend. I cannot believe I waited until 2018 to read her books. Like, I'm beating myself up internally for that. So just rest assured, I have a whole nother book of hers to read than a new release, and was sleeping on this author. I'm upset at myself, but I'm also happy that I finally woke up. It was like, embrace the love that is this author, because she's amazing. Then we have favorite passage or quote from a book you read in 2018. I never ever finished this because I'm not one to tab quotes and things like that. I'm horrible, I know. Then we have your shortest and longest book of 2018. So my shortest one was In Conclusion, Don't Worry About It by Lauren Graham. This was literally just a college speech. It was 52 pages. The longest book was this behemoth right here, which is 992 pages. This is the longest book I've ever read in my entire life. Let me just tell you that much. So one day I'll read a book bigger than this, but wow, I can't believe I read a 992 page book, like almost a 1,000-page book. Who am I? Book that shocked you the most. For this one I picked You by Carolyn Kepnes. I'm picking this because what shocked me about this book was the sheer fact of how shocked I was that I hated every single character in this book. I thought for sure, when you know about this book, how it's about like a stalker and you know, he's stalking a woman, you can already have some premonitions or just feelings about what you're going to feel about the book. No, let me tell you, it's gonna shock you how you feel about this book. You're gonna have feelings you never thought you did, and you're gonna be like, why am I feeling this? It shocked me immensely. Then we have OTP of the year. You will go down with the ship. Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like big into OTPs anymore. I feel like with my reading changes, I don't know. Like I feel like if I say any, I will spoil it for you. I mean, there's some in here that I really love. I don't want to spoil it. Then we have favorite non-romantic relationship of the year. For this one, I picked the friendship and these two girls, and Little Do We Know. I love this book. Definitely a hidden gem of the year. And also the sisterhood vibes from You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone by Rachel and Solomon. Both, I really enjoyed the non-romantic relationships in them. Then we have favorite book you read in 2018 from an author you read previously. For that one, that's going to be Beartown for me by Frederick Bachman. I had previously read a few of his books before 2018, but then I read this one and I fell in love with it. So yeah, that's my answer for that one. Best book that you read in 2018 that you read based solely on a recommendation from somebody else, peer pressure, Bookstagram, etc. For that one, hands down, I have so many books everywhere. Little Prince by Holly Black. I don't know if I would have read this if it wasn't for the hype and just everybody being like, I'm obsessed with this book. I'm obsessed with this book. I don't think I would have read it. We have newest fictional crush of 2018, Michael from The Kiss Quotient. That might be an OTP too. I'm willing to go down with this one right here. So good. Best debut you read this year. Oh my gosh. I feel like this year I read a ton of really good debuts, but the one, sorry, I'm still here. The one I've been talking about the most about is You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone by Rachel and Solomon. Everyone's sleeping on this book and I'm like, why? It's so good, so good. So please read it. I've been pushing this book as well. Just read it, it's so good. It's the best world building / vivid setting, and I'm gonna go with Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. I just really love the world that this book is in. It's very vivid. I feel like I can picture it completely with no problems at all, because sometimes I have a hard time picturing worlds and how magic systems are laid out and things like that. This one is just so effortlessly easy for me to picture, so that's why I'm picking this one. Book that put a smile on your face and was most fun to read. I have so many. The Kiss Quotient put a smile on my face the whole time. Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid put a smile on my face, and One True Love's also put a smile on my face. I have so many for this one though, so I mean, the possibilities are endless. Book that made you cry in 2018. There were actually several that made me cry. A lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid's book made me cry. This one, I would have to say, won the cake for the most tears. I'd actually have to say Kristen Hanna books in general. I read 3 of her books this year. I love them all. So this one definitely made me, like, I'm talking about, I was sobbing. I have never in my life sobbed with a book like I have sobbed with The Nightingale. Like, I'm surprised there's not like freaking tear stains on this chain. Also, I can't reach it. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna made me cry a ton, as well as Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. All 3 of those books cried like a freaking baby. We have hidden gem of the year. For this one, I feel like I've talked about a couple of them, like You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone, The Wicked Deep, but also Sawkill Girls. No one's talking about this book, and I thought it was amazing. So I definitely think it's a hidden gem of the year. Everyone was mostly talking about her other book she released this year called Furyborn, which I actually did not enjoy really at all. So that's why I was also hesitant to read this one, but I loved it. So don't sleep on this. I don't know why I keep saying that. Is that even the proper thing to say? Just don't miss out on this book. Definitely a hidden gem. Next up, we have a book that crushed your soul. A Reaper at the Gates, my friends. Oh, crush my soul in a good way and a bad way. I love this book. We have most unique book you read this year. For that one, I'm gonna go with Obsidio by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I say this is unique because if you don't know, this series is all mixed media, so you have different like dossiers, notes, and things like that. And this was actually the first book I listened to it and read it simultaneously. So I would listen to the audiobook and also physically read it, and that's why it was the most unique for me, because I missed out on the audiobooks for this. I'm so mad at myself because the audiobooks for these are phenomenal. Do not miss out on them. I recommend, if you have the option of both owning it physically and listening to it, do them both, because it's going to be an amazing experience that you don't want to miss out on. Last kind of book related question is book that made you the most mad. Doesn't necessarily mean you didn't like the book. This one, I'm going to make it mean that. And that is The 7 Days of Us by Francesca Hornak. That book made me so mad because everyone just was so self-centered and selfish in that book. I just could not stand it. So yeah, so the next section, like I said, is all booktube, book like vlogging, things like that. So I'm skipping over that. So there are like 5 questions looking in 2019, so I will answer those quickly. Number 1 is one book that you didn't get to in 2018, but will make your number 1 priority in 2019. I feel like I've said this a lot, and I don't know if it'll ever happen. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I don't know why I can't read that book. The Nightingale, that destroyed me, but it's my favorite book of the year. It'll probably happen, The Book Thief for 2019. Mark my words. The book you're most anticipating for 2019, non-debut. I have several. Slayer by Kirsten White, 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. 2019 debut you're most anticipating. For this one, I have to say Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. That one just sounds the most intriguing and dark and mysterious that I really am anticipating. Series ending / a sequel you're most anticipating in 2018. The Wicked King by Holly Black is one of them, and a lot of other ones too, but there's no release date on them. Like The Toll by Neil Shusterman, no release date. Also, I heard that freaking the 4th and final book of Ember in the Ashes I thought was going to come out in 2019 has been pushed back to 2020, so my heart's crushed. That would be 100% the answer for this one, but it's not. One thing you hope to accomplish in your reading / blogging life in 2019. For this one, I'm gonna go with, I have a whole video of my reading goals, so I'm gonna go for this one into my YouTube goals. This one I wanna make my readathon that I did this year bigger and better for next year. The 'Tis the Season-a-thon. I want to do that. And the last question is a 2019 release you've already read and recommend to everyone, if applicable. It's not. I don't know. A lot of people have already read a ton of 2019 books and are already raving about them. For me, I have to at least wait till I'm within the year to read them. I don't know why. That's just how I am. Is that weird? I don't know, but so this is not applicable to me. So there you have it. That was the 2018 Bookish survey. It's been a long video, my friends. I'm glad you've made it this far. Like I said, if you are interested in checking this out, I will leave the link down below. I highly recommend you do because I had such a good time doing this and looking back on my answers. And the one bad thing is there's like 50 books like that are just thrown all on my floor right now that I have to clean up. But this is my last video of 2018. I had an amazing 2018 with you guys, and I cannot wait to ring in the new year in 2018 and make bigger and better videos for all of you. So yeah, here's to a new year and a fresh new start and lots of fun. I'll see you guys in my next video in 2018 probably. Bye.